Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Today we're featuring the installation and burial of our propane tank. I wondered how that was going to work, how he would be able to get that off of the truck. He just has a remote control that lifts it off and sets it down on the ground.
Hi everybody, this is Dave with Featured Elements. Today we're going to be burying a 500-gallon propane tank. Let's get to work. Okay, so you just want the hose in here?
Yeah, and then
a couple extra feet?
Yeah.
Okay, and then down there you want to pick it up? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I won't fill anything. They got to inspect it.
Yeah.
So Andrew gave me a lot of great instruction on how to put this tank in and how to set it up that the county requires, and so shouldn't have any trouble.
Thank you, man. Thanks.
So it took us a little bit to decide where we wanted to bury the tank. We wanted to have it in a location where they could come in and refill it and have easy access to it. So we decided this was going to be a good spot.
Daphne got the pine needles all raked back for me, so I don't have to mess with that, and I just get straight to digging. So the hole's going to be about 5 feet wide, about 12 feet long, and about 4 feet deep, or a little less. We're on a slope, so one side of the hole is going to be a lot higher than the other. We're just going to try to average it out to get the land to hit the riser the way we want it to. Kind of average it out. So I'll have a little room on both sides to kind of shift the tank back and forth to get the riser exactly the way I want it when the time comes. But let's get this hole in. There's still a lot of branches in the first foot or two of soil from where we bulldozed all this off, and a lot of brush got covered up, so that's kind of a pain, but eventually this hole will clear up and be good solid dirt by the time we get to the bottom. I'm trying to sort into 3 different piles, topsoil, clay, and sticks, so may be a waste of time, but I'm going to try to sort it out a little bit. I'm going to rub it tight a little bit here and check the depth.
I'll go get the skid steer and bring the compactor over for you.
This soil compacts real well, so I'm gonna flatten it down, tighten it up a little bit right on the last inch or two, kind of clean up the bottom of this hole.
So on one side, it sticks out. On this side, it's going to stick out about a foot, almost all the way to the bottom of the riser. And on this side, it'll be buried. So I think if we favor it towards this side of the hole, I think it'd be just fine. The best way to figure this out is when you set the tank down in there, you do that. and you go, okay, where's our lid at compared to this?
Right.
But what I'm talking about for now, we're as absolutely deep as we want to go here, and I think this is perfect, you know, considering. But when you come over here, so in the middle, you're going to be halfway, thereabouts. And I think this hole's plenty long enough for this thing that we can move it around a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Really had a pretty narrow sweet spot of where we really wanted the bottom of this hole to be, just because of the slope. And we're probably within a couple of inches, but kind of hedging on a little bit too deep. So I'm guessing when it's all said and done, I'll have to move the tank over to the kind of the far right side to get the riser where we want it. But anyway, we'll get this compactor out of here and get the tank hooked up and get it in the hole. Daphne needs a better assistant. She needs to get one that knows how to hook up a chain. I'm going to have Daphne grab the tank and bring it over to me so I don't have to scooch around up on the gravel with the excavator. Hate making a mess out of the driveway that I don't have to. I'm going to talk Daphne into guiding this thing into the hole for me. I can't get it to hang still, at least close enough to get it in there straight. The tank's sitting really good and level, and hopefully the riser depth will be okay and I don't have to move it anymore, but we're going to check it and see what happens. Ideally, I want the fittings a little bit below the left side and a little bit above the right side, and it looks like the tank's sitting a little bit low, which was what I was kind of afraid of, but we'll take a good look at it here and make some adjustments. Yeah, it's a little low, but I think we can move it off to the right there a little bit and take care of it. So as soon as Daphne gets this lid on, I'll hook up the anode bag. It's just a bag that lays in the corner, kind of like an anode rod for your water heater, and this will help protect the integrity of the tank. And so I've got that all hooked up, and we're ready to start clearing off the driveway a little bit to cut our trench for our line. I had geofabric underneath the gravel, so kind of making a mess here, getting it cleaned off, and there'll be a bunch of this fabric we'll just wad up and throw away. I've still got it on the edge of the hill there and over towards the barn, but this stripe right down the middle won't have any in it. I don't think it's really going to make any difference. So I cut a line in with a trencher. It's about 18 inches deep, about 6 inches wide, and I put the tracer wire and the hose in there and got those all plumbed up to the tank, and ran a pressure fitting on it that was supplied by the gas company. I guess procedure is they put some gas in the tank before they bring it out, so it's got a little ballast to it and it won't float if the hole fills up with water, which was probably a good idea because that hole ended up with about 2 feet of water in it. And now they're here topping it off, bringing it up to approximately 80% full. I think that's as full as they ever make them.
Maybe I'll catch up. Hey everybody, so here we are today. We've got our propane tank buried. We're going to cover it back in. The inspector's been here and told us it was okay and we can go ahead and fill it back in, so that's what we're going to work on today.
After a couple torrential rains, our anode bag is not pretty white anymore. So let's get this hole filled in. As you can see, this dirt's pretty dry and powdery, so I'm pretty sure after the next couple of rains I'm going to have to top this hole back off a little bit. I'm sure it's going to settle underneath that tank next time it rains.
Just scroll up and go to the right to hit that like button. We sure do appreciate it.
We've got our trench all filled back in and our gravel spread, and I'm just tracking it in, get everything kind of packed down tight, and make it better to drive on. Regulations from area to area may vary, but I'm guessing that most places are pretty similar to this. And if you just work with your gas company and the local inspectors, they'll kind of guide you as to what you can do and what you can't do, and they'll kind of lead you through this every step of the way. And really, if you've got the time and the equipment, it's kind of enjoyable work. There's pretty quick beginning and end to it. You know, it's not like it drags on for a month. From the time I started digging the hole till the time it was filled in and all taken care of was only about 3 days, so not a lengthy project, pretty simple.
So here's the hookup on the buried propane tank. As you can see, the tank's set on about 85%, and that's what I hooked up this line right here. It goes into this high pressure regulator that pulls it down to 10 pounds or 10 psi, going line into the house. And then just before it gets to the house, there's another regulator, and it's going to cut it down to about a half a pound. Eventually that'll be bumped up to probably a 2 pound regulator, but for now half pound's good enough. So anyway, that's what we're getting ready to do. We're going to turn the valve on. And everything kind of fill up there. Now we're going to check for leaks. Got a little soapy water. If it starts blowing bubbles, then we got a leak. So it looks good there. Let's go up and see how we're doing up front. Now here's where the line comes up. Comes up to a low pressure regulator. Don't see any leaks there. And don't see any leaks around that, so should be good.
Coming up next, we're going to get back to the Barndominium metal roof installation, phase 2 on the lean-to portion. And so we hope that you're enjoying following along with the build. If you haven't subscribed, we hope that you will, and we'll see you next time.